What's up, guys? It's homie Bigg Vic. We back in here with another video. Of course, today we got Box Truck Conversations and Culture. Got the homie, my brother from another mother, Malik, aka
ESK. You already know what it is, man. Like I always say, man, you already know what it is. You know who I am. It's your boy, Malik Williams. Yup, I'm back. But this time, I came back with my brother. You know, I came over to his platform, man, you know, just to go back in the day, man, and talk about this guy, man. A lot of you guys watch this guy, man, and, you know, people call themselves gurus all the time, right? And then you go to their channel and you go through their master class, and at the end of it, guess what? You still where you were. But guess what? This guy can actually really say he's a guru, man, and he's actually doing it, man. He's going around the country helping people learn how to get the box truck game going. But what you guys don't know that I know is that this guy has had a long journey to get here, man. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the journey to get here. You know, your journey to get where you are. You don't always end up where you start out. Let's go back, man. You know, we go back a long, it's like kind of hard to even like do this interview because I know you so well. It's like ever since we were kids, you were the one who like could see the vision and go after it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no doubt.
Some people see the vision and they talk about it and they never execute.
For sure.
I can for surely say that ever since we were kids, if we talked about it, you were about it. You went out, you bought the keyboard, you went out, you got the drum machine, you went out and you met the artists, you traveled and you did the connections and the networking. You know, where we had talent, you had the vision. You were like, Diddy, you know what I'm saying? No Diddy, you know what I'm saying,
no
right
Diddy,
now.
no
But you were our visionary. You were the one who went out and did the things that we talked about. How did you become that person? Where did that start from?
Kind of started from just wanting to have more, right? I always felt like I had something. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, politics, and things of that nature. So I kind of looked at them, was like, yo, it's a possibility that I could do something. But then I kind of got into the music side. I knew I wanted more than what I currently had. It always started from there.
Facts.
Right? I came from where I saw a lot of people that wanted things but just was talking about doing it. Right? And I kind of got sick of just talking about doing those things. I wanted to do it.
Facts.
Right? So I knew one thing for sure, that if I read on how to learn how to do something, I should be able to do it.
Facts.
Or if somebody else did it, there's a possibility that I can do it too.
Facts.
Right? It only takes one person to make a decision to make something happen.
Facts.
So that's kind of always like been my mindset from day one. I was going to get rich or die trying.
For sure. And I mean, I can attest to that. Like, we tried it all, everything. I mean, from being in the streets, early on, you know what I'm saying? I remember, like, me, I kind of embraced it more. I watched you say, I don't know about this, y'all. We played around with it a little too long, and you saw quick, and you was like, nah, that ain't the move right there. I'm going to let them have that, and now I'm going to go over to this other side, the corporate structure. And like you said, you got into the music, and, like, just a little bit on the music tip, like I said, people were talking about it, but you were actually doing it, making connections with artists like Mobb Deep and connecting with Jermaine Dupri. I remember you were telling me about the platform he had back then, put me on game. Like, anytime I needed to be up on any type of game in any industry, as far as music or marketing or anything like that, I cannot lie, I always call you on the phone. You know this. Like, hey, it's something new going on. I know I ain't going to do the due diligence on it, but check this out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you would go into it. So, you know, what gave you the energy? Because like you said, you were around a bunch of people who had potential, but lacked the effort.
Right.
When was the defining moment for you when you said, you know what, that's it. No more street, no more talking with the guys. I'm about to get out here and get it.
Well, it kind of started, like, I remember we had a group. So we had a group back in the days, and I know we all had our own different things going on, you know, just personal wise.
Facts.
And a lot of times that can get in the way of what the group had going on. So remember, we did a talent show in Columbia. We won that talent show. You couldn't tell us nothing. We made we won $500. Had to split it between, what was it, about 6 of us?
Yeah, about five or six of us,
We had to split it 500. They had us in the newspaper. So, you know, things like that kind of help spark me. When somebody sees something in you that you already kind of knew was there, that definitely helps motivate you.
They give you that affirmation.
For sure. Yeah. So you're like, I got something here. Our thing was kind of moving a little slow, right? At the time, our group, we were just doing different things. Group-wise, we was trying to do some things, but I was like, you know what? If I can't really depend on nobody, I can definitely depend on me. I know what I'm going to do. So I'm like, yo, I remember calling y'all like, yo, I got it. Felt like we was in the big group, like, yo, I got to go solo, man. I'm about to do my solo thing.
The running rebel.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm about to go solo. I'm about to go to drop an album, man.
Yeah.
And I remember taking one credit card. I had got my first credit card, a Capital One credit card. And I ordered that, what was that record? I had that hard disk.
VS880.
There you go.
Yeah.
The VS880. Rolling VS880.
Yep.
Hard disc recorder. And, I recorded my album at the crib.
Word.
That's what kind of sparked it. Like, so from there I started, producing more music.
Yep.
I put the album out. I took my income tax money, put the Fortune and Fame album out. Had a couple of people featured on there. A few people was featured on the album.
Facts.
From there, I ended up getting, going down to Freaknik. I think they heard me tell that story a little bit. Ended up going down to Freaknik, and I forgot what year that was. I had the posters on the side of the on MPV van, handing out posters, and it's so crazy. A dude commented on one of my videos, like maybe a couple months ago. It's like, yo, I remember you. Like, you gave me one of your tapes down that Freaknik. Like, yo, this is crazy for me to still be seeing that you actually still doing your thing after all of these years. And I was like, yo, that's wild.
Yeah.
He said, yo, I remember you had the posters on the side of the van. You jumped out, gave me one of the cassette tapes. It was fire too. So I was like, all of those things. But I had to do something more than what I was currently doing.
Yeah, and coming from the other side, like I said, I was more into the street side of it. It was like watching your brother go do something else, and a part of me was jealous, but a part of me was like, bro just went and did that. That's little bro, but he was always little big bro, because not even talking about size, he's younger than me, so he was little bro like that, but he was always the biggest thinker. So it's like I'm watching, I'm like, okay, he ain't gonna outthink me. I'm gonna watch what he doing. I'm gonna get some of this. He was able to go out, run through his chitlin circuit, and come back and sign us. He eventually signed us to his label. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So how that developed, I started, like, after I took a pause, I ended up signing a contract with a label. It was like I was sitting on the label. I couldn't do anything as an artist because I was signed with them, and they were, they had issues with like EMI distribution.
Who was that, Roy C?
No. That was Big East Entertainment.
Big East. Okay.
They had me under that contract, and I'm like, yo, I gotta do something. So I'm like, there's still cats around me that do their thing. Let me start this management company and start this record label. I went and bought the books on how to start my management company, went and bought the book on how to form my record label, and read those books, formed everything, paid my attorney to incorporate Fat Pocket Entertainment, and yo, we got it cracking from there.
No doubt.
I was like, yo, what y'all want to do?
No doubt.
Y'all already was working on your stuff.
We was working on the album because
let's jump this label off, man.
Me and Buddha was together at the time, and his brother left us a VS880.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to hook it up. We didn't know how to run it. We had it hooked up wrong and everything. We recorded a whole album on it, a smash album, and Vic, being enterprising, he heard it. He said, oh, this what y'all got going on? Okay, yeah, y'all did this wrong, that wrong, but don't worry about it. We gonna rock. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we wanted to do. We didn't want to do the business side back then. And see, that's something that I always tell people, like, find your lane.
Yes,
you
sir.
see what I'm saying? Some people, they say, yo, I want to be the star, But guess what? It might be better for you to be in marketing
for sure
than to be the headline star.
Absolutely.
And that's what Vic did. And he came back, double back, and got us. You know what I'm saying? And we were able to be in full page ad in XXL magazine. Sure. We had our music
rap
being
pages.
Played. Yeah, rap pages. We had our music being played in Honolulu, Hawaii.
All over.
like Boston, places we never been in our lives. Our music was there. And to this day, you can go to YouTube and search Buddha Bass Fat Pocket Entertainment, and you will find our first presses. Our original presses for the promo. For the we were kids when we were doing this. We were kids, like in our teens and 20s. We were doing this. We had the vision then. So I just wanted to bring them into the mindset, you know. So I don't want them to think like, oh, this guy just watched some videos and became a guru. No, he has always been the one who was going to go out, do the due diligence. I mean, he's done this for several different products. Noni juice, pages, phones, whatever he could find to sell. Prepaid legal, something. He was always on, hey, I got something going. You know, he's written books. You know what I'm saying? And this is, I'm talking about, this is just a guy from the hood. I mean, really from the hood. We used to ride around in the car with no radiator. We had to keep pouring water into it so we could have heat. We slept in the car in Atlanta trying to get on with the music. So from all of that, all of those things built him up to a place where he could be the guy that he is today. And you know, I want to salute you myself as a brother, man. You know what I'm saying? I've always been proud of you, even when I was mad at you. You know what I'm saying? He like the annoying little brother, because you know he done found it. He done found the algorithm, and he always called me, and I can always be honest. He'll say, hey, you do this. Now, if I didn't do it, that's on me. But I can honestly say that he's always been one to call and turn us on to the new information. And all of that has really transcended you into this new lane, the niche that you found. So I only have one question. How did you go from music, producing, into teaching people how to produce, and now finding box trucks as your lane? And I mean, you're great at it. You're really helping people get money.
For sure. So I was on YouTube. This was during the pandemic. Nobody was really doing anything, right? So everybody was more so at home. So I'm looking at YouTube. Of course, I'm still making beats, doing my beat making tutorials, but that still wasn't paying the bills like that. Even though I landed the deal with Jermaine Dupri, So Def, you know, doing all that stuff with the label as a signed producer. That still wasn't enough, right? You know, they did the parties and the private parties and all that stuff. Like, I need to make money.
It looked good.
Man, it looks beautiful. It's amazing being around everybody, politicking and, networking.
And that's a great sidebar. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's a great sidebar. Don't get caught up in the things that look good. Because some people get happy and they go and they get a couple chains, they get a car that they lease, a house that they lease, and they don't, and it just looks good. Don't get caught up in the superficial. And that's the most important part of it. And back to your point about,
so that wasn't paying the bills for me. Now, I did get opportunities from being affiliated with that label, right? I did get opportunities. I got a lot of opportunities to produce music for artists because they seen that brand attached to me as a producer.
Facts.
So of course I'm gonna use it for what I can use it for.
No doubt.
Right? So during that stint, after that whole situation kind of died down, I'm like, yo, I gotta find something, right? Because I didn't want to be that cool barber still chopping people up at 60, 65 years old. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't my vision. I just knew there's more out here for me to do. Back in 99, I got my first dose of getting personal development, or even finding out what that was.
Facts.
All these different, books and audio tapes I started listening to, getting my mind right? So I had to recondition how I was thinking. I think that was the key component for me, just to get my mind right.
Mindset.
Right? So they say you change your mind, you change your life.
Facts.
Right? So that never really clicked for me. You know, you always see the billboards growing up. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
You just see it and just keep on moving.
It's just a nice saying.
That's all it was. But if you change your mind, you can change your life.
Facts.
So I started changing my mindset and really just brainwashing myself for success. Right? listen, like I said, listening to the audios, like whatever I put my hands on, and this is a clue for a lot of people. Whatever I put my hands on, I'm going to study it. I'm going to become proficient in it. And I'm going to make sure I'm damn well one of the best that's doing it.
No doubt.
Right? So if I'm saying I'm starting a record label, boy, I'm going to find out how do we get these records out to these record pools? How do we get it in the hands of the DJs who break the records?
Facts.
Right? So you got to kind of go from the ground up and see how the big labels were doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I approached it from that way. And by us approaching it that way, we got people that was... Just to go back to that for a quick second, we had DJs in Japan that was picking up y'all record in vintage record stores.
Facts.
Which was crazy.
And replaying
like
it
one
again.
Of the popular biggest DJs out there was rocking y'all record.
That's crazy.
With my label on it.
You see what I'm saying?
When I came over into this space, and I tell people this all the time on the channel, like, I already came into this space with that mindset, with that business mindset. So it wasn't going to take a lot for me to kind of figure out, like, how do I get in here and take this and really run it up? Like, let's go beyond just that one box truck.
Facts.
How could I take this knowledge that I learned, package it up, and help some other people change their lives? So I tried to do that with production, right? But that's not something a lot of people could see themselves doing. Everybody doesn't want to produce music.
That's a creative thing.
That's right. That's kind of like a thing that, you know, a hobby-ish for some people. When you can help people solve a problem and they can see their way to fixing that problem by your solution, you got yourself a gold mine.
Facts.
And you shouldn't have to worry about money no more.
Facts.
If I can help you fix your problems, think of every popular business, every popular industry, most millionaires, they solve the problem.
Facts. And add value.
That's all they did.
Yeah.
They solved the problem. They figured out a way to solve somebody's problem. Listen, the money gonna come to you. You can solve somebody's problem.
Facts. I saw Byron Allen on an interview one time, and he said, money is nothing. He said, man, you ride past millions of dollars every day. You just got to know who to ask to get. And, you know, I realized, you know, back in the day when I read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep. That's my first book I read.
Yeah, it kind of changed my mindset.
Yep. And
I realized I take everything down to the pimp hoe scale. You know what I mean? I break it down to the simplest form so even a street person can understand it. Like, if you're on the street and you're the type of person who just say, yo, you know, I just want to get a pack, make some money, pay my bills, then that's what you're going to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you say, you know what, I'm going to get enough of this, I'm going to do this so well that I'm going to be able to provide money for other people to empower myself.
Absolutely.
Now, when you do those type of things and you manifest that, now you're talking about that word, those two words that everyone likes to say today, generational wealth.
Correct.
And so that changed my mindset early on. So when we got into the music, I never was saying I want a record deal.
Right.
Remember, I was like, I want to start a company.
Yes.
I want to start a company.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't need the label.
We going to do it ourselves. Yeah.
Saying that back then.
We can put posters up and all that ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I remember we went to Street Nick and we had posters and flyers and Outkast was performing too.
Correct. Yep.
And it was supposed to be a major guy who was from the area. His name was Pistol. I never forget this. They knew his lyrics and everything word for word. Nobody knew who we were. But we had all of our paperwork. We had posters. We had flyers to put in. We went to the place. The man said, who are y'all? We was like, oh, we Buddha Bass. We performing tonight. Fat Pocket Entertainment. We got our... We went and put our poster in the marquee.
Yep.
The guy who was supposed to open for Outkast didn't. We in the back room in the VIP.
And opened up.
And opened up for Outkast. We in the back with them. Because we always act like we knew we were not coming in as employees.
For sure.
We are bosses.
For sure.
And you're going to respect us as such. And everybody in the crew carried themselves that way.
Yep.
And everywhere we went, we were always welcome.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the beauty of this game.
Yeah.
You just got to think differently. Like you said, that's a major key.
For sure.
Major key. If you think differently about your whatever you bring to the game and don't take it for a joke, know what your worth is and stand on it, you're going to be successful. What I want to ask you is this. I remember when you first kind of got into this, you had 2 trucks, right?
I had one.
You had one?
I had one. The first.
Some kind of way you ended up with 2 trucks.
I ended up buying the second one like 6 months later.
Okay, so the question I want to ask was that out of pocket money, or did the truck buy the truck?
So the first truck I got a loan.
Oh, okay.
So I got a loan, a personal loan from Navy Federal. I paid $10,000 for that.
Facts.
And then the rest of that, I got a loan for $13,085.
Okay.
That $13,085 started my business. Right, that did everything. I took care of all the paperwork, my down payment for insurance,
LLC.
yeah, everything. I already had the LLC.
Oh, okay.
LLC was already established.
Facts.
That took care of all of that. That got me off and running. Like, that was my start. But that first truck ended up buying that second truck.
That's what
Yes.
my point was.
Yes.
The first truck that you got the loan on,
For sure.
bought the second truck.
Correct.
Did you, in cash?
No.
So you got another? You financing? Okay.
But I had already. But I paid the first loan off.
You paid it off.
I
Okay.
paid that off, and then I was able to go ahead and finance that second truck. That first truck made the income come in to where now when the finance company looked at my situation, credit was already strong, but the business credit was even stronger, and so they did that with no money down.
Okay, they're like, oh, you good?
Yeah.
You good money?
Everything
You straight?
strong,
Your face
personal
clean?
and business credit.
We
so,
want you. We want you to owe us some money.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. Like, if you put everything in order the way they need it, they want you to get this money.
For sure.
They need you to get this money so they can get money.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, it's just, I could take it to my home buying experience. My whole young life, I thought I would never own a home. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not afraid to say I'm not Richie Rich. I never was Richie Rich, and there were no us back then.
Right.
Nobody was saying, hey, take your money, do this, it'll change your credit score.
Right.
None of our parents told us that. We found all that out after we messed up our credit.
Oh, absolutely. Better believe it. Better believe it. Nobody taught me about none of that.
None of that, right? So that's the difference now. It's so many platforms where you can learn how to use money, where to put it. You just have to do the due diligence.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And that's why I definitely salute you, because you saw the vision that, okay, if I teach, I can help people solve that problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that and so what's the funny thing is, when I first started doing, putting out the courses and creating a mentorship program, I didn't just magically come up with that. They asked me for it, right? So the people started asking me, like, do you have anything, like, that we could, because I want to learn how how to do it through you. Like, I don't want to sit here and watch a whole bunch of videos. Like, if you got something already, I'll pay for it.
Facts.
I'm like, ding, right? That's a light bulb just goes off.
There's the problem to solve.
There you go. So I did that, and then they like, yo, we want something a little more, a little more personable. That's the mentorship program.
Okay.
And I dropped the mentorship program I put it at the value I felt it was worth at that time, and just like that, overnight, once I put it out there, the woke up and the account was swole.
Facts.
Right?
Overnight.
They said, sign me up, bro. And then what's so funny is, when people that were watching and looking at me creating all this stuff, they weren't happy. They had CDLs and been doing this stuff for years, and they like, well, how you just
pop up out of the blue?
He don't know that much stuff. Like, why are they paying? Well, he know enough.
Yeah.
All you got to do is know enough. You don't have to know everything. See, everybody doesn't want to know everything. See, I'm great at execution.
I can get it done.
I'm great at execution.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you learn everything. Sometimes you learn just by going out there and start shooting.
That's it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to keep swinging.
Yeah. Because, see, I'm in photography, and I used to watch the videos, and then I watched the video, and the person said, you know what? If you really want to learn, get out and shoot.
That's it. You got to.
Use your camera every day, you will develop. And before you knew it, I was not doing the things that people were telling me to do in the videos anymore. I knew about the rule of thirds. I knew about depth of field. I knew about all these things. But now I had a style
for sure
to shoot. And so when I shoot my photography, two people can shoot the same picture, and it'll be a totally different vision.
Yep.
And that's what I learned. That's why I bring value to myself and my company
Yep.
because I have a different vision. And you know, that's what I salute anybody on, finding a way to get into the market and then bringing them their own personality, their own creative energy into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's definitely the wave right now.
Absolutely.
What side gigs have you done besides, you know, box truck is not a side gig by any means.
Right.
But to scale down, have you ever done any like side gigs like DoorDash or Grubhub or
No.
Uber Eats? Would you suggest that to someone?
I've never done it before. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that because when I first started, when I first got into looking at different opportunities, I seen guys on YouTube that were documenting their DoorDash journeys, showing how much they made just doing DoorDash in a day. You know, me at the time, I'm cutting hair, so I'm looking for that thing that's I need to.
You got to top that.
Bro, I saw a highlight that said, from shout out to Demetrius B. I saw a highlight. He put a video up. Box truck owner operator makes $20,000 in his first month. That's all I needed to see.
Okay, now we talking.
That was it.
Yeah.
So anything that,
like Janet Jackson said, you looking for the big nickel.
anything that was not where those numbers were at, I was not paying attention to it. I maybe saw a video here and there as I got into looking at ways of making money, you know, with the box truck.
Yeah.
And then I seen you didn't have to have a CDL. So those two, that combination was like, okay, I know how to get a truck. So you telling me that if I go get a truck and, you know, get my MC number and all this other stuff, I can start making some money right now. And so back then, Amazon was allowing people to go ahead and sign up with them once you get your MC number. Now it takes 6 months.
Oh, okay.
You know, so they changed up that.
Because the wave, everybody's...
Yeah. Had a lot of people coming in that were, you know, running their freight when they got their box trucks. Yeah, but I didn't do any of those, like DoorDash and any of those services. I saw those, that those were opportunities, but yeah, I needed something way bigger for me to stop, because I was cutting hair at the time.
So you were getting money. Money wasn't an issue.
But I needed a whole different level of money. I didn't want to get off from stop cutting hair, and you know have
driving around town.
Yeah.
In my experience, that's what kind of got me off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you need some immediate money, you know what I'm saying, something, it's there. But to the fault, you're messing your car up. You're doing a lot of driving back and forth for $5 and $6. You know what I'm saying? You're driving 10, 15 miles for $6 orders and things of that nature. Now, I wouldn't tell anybody don't get it if it's working for you. But, you know, I know that car maintenance is, once it kicks in.
Yeah, it kicks in.
Yeah, man.
Look, see, and that's the thing I tell people with, like, just even being in this box truck space, the maintenance that's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? I had a $20,000 maintenance situation that popped up with my first truck. There wasn't no oil in there. My driver was driving with no oil. Right? And guess what? I was on the way to Dubai, but that was a $20,000 decision I had to make. And for me making that decision, guess what happened?
What happened?
More people came into my mentorship program because they saw I know how to make a decision and keep things rolling.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to follow somebody that's like that. That's what they said. I was like, what made you get in the program? I said, man, I was watching you, and before you went to Dubai, you dropped that video, and you said you went on ahead and got that went on ahead and made the decision
to that 20 back.
Drop that 20.
Yeah.
And I said, this is the type of person I need to follow. Put me in the game, coach.
Because he doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And still rolling. And trust and believe, it wasn't an easy decision. And I was like, yo, wait, bands?
I can get another truck.
Like, it's unlimited, but they like unlimited miles, this, that, and the third. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Unlimited miles in warranty on the engine.
Okay, well, yeah.
But I did that, and I ended up selling that vehicle for like 30 bands.
So you gained 10.
I made you right. I made my money.
And plus, before you sold it, you was getting money off of it as well. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I had my other truck already, at the time when I did that.
So
actually,
that was
my second truck.
That was a blessing. That's what when people say it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when the pandemic came, it was very traumatic. We lost a lot of people.
Yep.
But in that time, there were a lot of businesses created. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's why the government kind of likes war, but we ain't gonna get too much into that, because in times of war, it's money to be made.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I say about COVID. I'm like, listen, man, when COVID hit, some people got rich, a lot of people got lazy. Right? So I was one of the ones, I took advantage of COVID, and the time I was home, the time I was collecting that check that they was hitting everybody with, you know, I was like, yo, I'm gonna turn this into something else. You know, I'm gonna learn some things while I'm sitting back and collecting this money. I'm not just gonna be sitting around, I'm not playing no PlayStations, I'm not playing no games. Bro, there's a lot of that stuff I left alone. I remember I blew a good 2.5 years playing video games. And wasn't making no money from them. Online. I'm talking about, I've got clan wars. I'm calling the boys up. I've got people buying PS5s or PS60s, whatever it was back, PS4. They buying games like I'm like,
really
we got a clan war at 8 o'clock. I need you on deck.
Yeah.
But even then, I was rallying.
You was on
people.
some, see what I'm saying? That's what I was going with it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was able to get people to come together and still jump on what we were doing.
Whatever
right?
you on to,
whatever it was. So, but I blew a good 2 strong years. I'm talking about 3-4 in the morning. All day long.
It's really consuming. But I'm gonna tell you something now. I'm thinking about buying me a PS5 and creating me a Twitch.
There you go.
Cause I see
if you see, man, listen, brother.
T-Pain made $60,000 an hour, bro.
I heard something about it. I didn't watch it. I seen the thumbnail. I seen it up there. Listen, I didn't get to watch it, but just playing video games.
I by no means.
I think it was a short video. I saw.
I by no means. I'm nothing like T-Pain, but I'm something like T-Pain. I might not make 60,000, but I can make 4-5. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you know, there's so many ways. I wouldn't say don't play the game, just don't play the game for fun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Stream it, get money.
Absolutely.
Talk to your people.
My nephew.
So when I was a young kid, like in 13, 14, I noticed that the white guys would do things that they like to do and monetize it. If a guy liked scuba diving, he was a scuba diver instructor, and all day long he's charging people to teach them how to scuba dive.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And he lives in Florida in a nice home, and he's always happy. I noticed there are certain type of people who would just say, man, I just want to check.
That's it. That's a lot of it. That's not certain. That's half of America.
They don't even care for the place that they're working at. They don't see themselves doing it in the future.
No.
But they just want that. I could not be that person. I decided long ago, that's a song. Never to walk in anyone's shadow. You know what I'm saying?
I went to a comedy show, and the comedian had this shirt on. And everything on that shirt was nothing but the truth. You know what the shirt said?
What did it say?
You will look like the choices that you make.
Woo!
I'm going to say that again if you didn't hear me. You will look like the choices that you make. I promise you.
That's a major key. You will
wear the decisions that you made.
Facts.
You're going to look just like them.
Facts. I tell my kids all the time, they used to think I was going to spank them. I said, I'm not going to put my hands on you. I said, life.
Oh, most definitely.
It's going to put his hands on you for the choices you make. I'm just going to tell you what you should do, in my opinion, and through my experience, and all I can do is that. I'm not going to beat on you and kick on you. Guess what? I'm just not going to support any negativity. And I'm going to let life do what life do. Tough love.
Yes, sir.
I don't see enough parents doing that tough love thing, man. And I can definitely say tough love helped me and you.
Most definitely.
Because we didn't have parents to pass anything on. They didn't give us anything. We didn't have any help. No help. They couldn't even offer advice.
They call it getting it out the mud.
Yeah, getting it out the mud. We were actually in the mud. We loved the mud. And my mother was from the life. You know this. You know what I'm saying? So my mother was a hustler. So she saw that I thought I was grown. So she went. God bless her soul. She got 1,000 bags of weed. She bagged up 1,000 bags of weed, put it up under the sink. She said, "I see you later. You're grown. I see you later." She packed her stuff, went where she went, left me a whole house. after that, I never looked back. I've been a grown man since I was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Living by my own decisions and doing what I want to do. And by the grace of God, I was able to change my life.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? From the streets and all of those things.
Absolutely.
You know, since 2012, I haven't committed any crimes. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't look at it as a crime because I come from a hustler background.
Right.
But what I realized is I had to hold myself accountable. I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I used what my family, the excuse they gave me.
Yeah.
Like, I just was like, okay, yeah, I'm a keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Because my mama said.
Right. Oh, most definitely.
My mama showed me how to bag up weed. You can't tell me nothing,
Yeah.
But all the time in my mind knowing this ain't right.
Right.
And I brought that up because I know somebody else out there might be going through the same thing. You might be trying to do something to get money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a lot of scamming going on and things of that nature.
Yep.
But don't be afraid to say, you know what? I'm going to walk away from that, because the whole time I was hustling and doing nefarious things, I never owned anything. I had things, but I never owned anything.
Right.
I walked away from all of that, and I own a home now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's big too.
You know what I mean?
Congratulations to that.
Yeah, four bedroom, over 2,500 square feet. You know what I'm saying? Nice yard. My daughter has her own room. It's decorated.
Yeah.
Like, listen, some of my friends come, and I had a friend come visit and cry because he knew my journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
said, bro, you a long way from East Side now.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? You should. And meanwhile, I'm complaining.
Yeah.
I want more of this house. You know what I'm saying? And by the grace of God, like I said, I changed my life, man. I suffered some losses. And like you said, when you suffer the loss, you just got to keep on keeping on, man.
Sure.
And I was able to keep pushing. And me and my wife today is a real estate agent. I'm a photographer, and I'm also a garment designer. I'm about to start getting into that. I do graphic designs for clothing.
Yep.
And so even for you, you know what I'm saying, we get ready to get into that real big this year. You know what I'm saying? It's time for us to put some paint where it ain't.
Yes, sir. For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's time, as we say, let's eat, let's go, let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that Charlotte is the 16th largest state in America. It's larger than Atlanta. You see, I came in 96. 97. I was going to come here. They weren't finished with Independence. All that construction they doing around Independence, and I was going to live on that side, and I didn't like the roads.
Right.
So I went to Atlanta first.
Okay.
And
ATL.
I went to ATL, and
that was the first. Now that was the first. When we got that first whiff of Atlanta, I was stuck. I wanted to be in Atlanta.
I was an ATLian. I done went down there with my tax money. I done took tax money and stayed with some girls we met down there.
I wanted to be there so freaking bad.
Man, we went to the Phoenix. Remember, it was the Phoenix?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
We went to the Phoenix. Lil Jon was the DJ.
Yep.
Who was T-Boz and Left Eye and all them was there. Boys to Men and them was there.
Yep.
Man, we was in there dancing.
They walked in.
Yep, they had a talent show. We was the Hillbillies back then.
Yeah,
you remember that? We was trying to tap into our Southern influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something different.
So we changed our name to the Hillbillies, and we all took on hillbilly names, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was Crazy Cooter, and everybody, one of us had a pitchfork, the other one had.
I think I did.
That was that era when everybody was coming up with gimmicks to look good, and so we went down there and we actually performed on stage. Jermaine Dupri was having a talent show.
Sure did.
Yep. And we went down there and we did that, and that was it. I was an ATLian from that point. So, after that, like I said, years later when I became an older gentleman, I got in some trouble, and that was where I went to hide. I went to ATL and hid for 8 years. And while I was there, it was the best education I ever met, because it was the first place I went where black people were working together.
Definitely.
This is the first time I heard any of this where black people were actually trying to empower other black people. Black people riding around in AMGs.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm talking about females, like people that you wouldn't think had power, had money and power. And I saw it for the first time, and I got to be next to it. And when I went to Atlanta, man, they're actually showing people how to get money. Like in the club, when I went into the club, they charge you to park.
Yep.
If you want to get in the club, if you don't want to stand in the line, they charge you to jump the line.
Yep, they sure do.
In the restroom, they selling condoms, sprays of cologne, lotion, DVDs,
everything.
Shades. I'm talking about photographer in there taking pictures, and it all goes to the club, and the club pays all the employees. I said, oh my God, they're getting money in every corner of the building.
Everywhere.
I came back home. When I came back home after them 8 years, I went into party promotion because I said, you know what? They're not doing that here. They opening the door. The DJ's playing some music. The bar's open. That's it. That was our club. But we partied till 5, 6 in the morning. I said, boy, I'm about to start throwing parties, and I'm gonna make it elegant. I brought a DJ, a band, and we had the bar. Man, I changed the whole landscape of the party in my community of Florence for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? That blueprint became like the regular blueprint. We brought the twerk team, and Travis Porter, that was their name. Travis Porter. We brought the twerk team first, and Travis Porter, both sold out teen events. Boom. My brother saw me. He said, boy, what's going on with the lady at the club? I want to get in. Me and my boy Jack, we got some money. So we tried to come together and save the club. Turns out it was too late. The club was no more. So now we just 4 young gentlemen who know each other and ready to do something. Then I come with the tent idea, and we did the Oasis tent. And from there we went on to Tampa. We had August Alsina. We brought Yo Gotti, Rich Homie Quan. I'm the one who took the viral video of Rich Homie Quan doing that dance. That every blog site stole my video. Y'all all stole. That was my video y'all stole. I was green in the game back then. I was so in a hurry to put a video. I didn't put a watermark on it.
Right.
But I know the game now. And I it went viral. You know, it got right to the almost 1 million views. You know, and that's when I started to realize content was gonna be my game. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. That's the wave right now. Like content, they always said it was king, but it's a certain way that you have to deliver it now. It's people that will watch all types of stuff, especially with YouTube, with that being the biggest platform right now. But for me, that's brought, building my platform right now has just brought the sponsors. I have the audience that they're looking for. I have the audience that they spend money searching for every single month. Right? And so with the influence, that's where we get this influencer word from, with, you know, different people that people look up to them. So, of course, you have influence over people now. Right? So that's where they call these influencers from the Kardashians to the, you know.
I think they were the ones who kind of created it, the influencer
so, you know,
thing.
with their show and her sister building the $1 billion company off of skincare stuff. And
that's crazy. I'm like, who are these people?
Right
I'm like,
now.
who are these people?
Yeah, but that just goes to show you that, you know, when you start building up your brand or creating the content, and people see you, they watch you every day. So in essence, they feel like they know you.
They know you,
So if they see you, it's like you're not like a stranger to them. It's like, yo, I've been watching you for like 3 years. Like, yo, you like family to me, right? It has allowed me to really be able to live like I want to live. Like this is kind of like been that dream that I always dreamed. When I remember I was in New York at a producer's what was my man's name? God dog. I think his name was Malik Pendleton. But he produced for Mary and all of them. I was signed as a producer to a management company, and they took me to his crib. And then we went in his bedroom. He had this whole studio set up in there, and I was sitting there like, yo, well, one day I'm gonna have my own setup at the crib, and this is how I'll make my money. I'm gonna be making beats, sending stuff out. Right. So, but it's so crazy to me how things change, and it went from hardware to software, and content started being more popular with people, with cell phones, people watching stuff, watching their favorite whoever they're watching, getting invested in people's lives and people really showing, who they really are through visuals. And that has probably been like the biggest thing for me. Just seeing that change.
I saw a video the other day as a guy. It's a videotape. It's like one of those. They shot it with one of those. Remember back in the day, you had to have the one on your shoulder.
Yeah, the big one.
They shot it with that. And he was
VHS.
he was like, "Yo, you don't understand what this is." He said, "Man, one day people are going to just be walking around with cameras and recording their lives, and yo, it was like he was prophetic,
right?
Like he was
not with the big
joint. But see, he couldn't tell that." Then you know what I'm saying?
He knew it was
going to be something. Yeah. He said people can tell you what's going on with their lives. You can stay in touch with them. He said, I predict this is going to be big. This is pre-internet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, man, some people have the vision, man.
Yep.
If you lock in when you have the vision, that makes you an innovator. So
yes, it does.
On the last story you told me, what I gathered from that is timing.
Yep.
Timing, because you had the wherewithal to know it was time to start that YouTube page.
Yep.
And you knew it was time to pivot. See,
that's the key.
I see some people get locked in.
You got it, boy.
Yeah.
You got it. Sometimes Now I'm glad you mentioned that pivot, because I said to myself, what was crazy about that whole pivot thing was, I was like, man, I'm making beats. It's going to be crazy for me to just switch it up and people see me and people see me just doing, showing my journey in the box truck business and all this stuff. I was like, they ain't gonna be with none of that probably. But what was so crazy was the guys, most of the people that's following me was dudes. A few females here and there, but they was like, yo, it's crazy how I was watching you making beats. Now you just showed me how to get money with in a truck now.
A whole nother vibe.
Right. So I was like,
your followers pivoted with you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They jumped over there too. It was like, yo, I ran into one dude. We was at what was that? I was dropping a load off. I was at a truck stop, coming out of a truck stop. The dude was like, yo, Bigg Vic. I was like, he's like, man, I've been following you since you was doing reason tutorials. So he was a producer, and he got he had the big joint, the big truck, and I was like, yo, this is
people evolve
surreal,
with
man.
you.
Yeah, it's surreal. So you never know who's watching you,
right, and whose life you're adding value to,
right, on those platforms.
Yep.
And it's still a pinch me type moment. Yeah. Like when I think about it, it's like, yo, it's been an amazing journey. This took me this literally changed my life, like sharing that content, putting it out there, but more importantly, seeing the people's lives that were impacted,
positive,
that have changed their lives and got in the business and scaled up. I got guys with like 6-7 trucks, bro, 3-4 semis.
They done went in based on. Hey man, that's the one thing people need. See, people like I remember when all of this phone calling and internet and all of that stuff started. It kind of changed the landscape, because back in the day, you had to really know somebody.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
To get put on.
Yeah, you had to know somebody, because it was nowhere you could go.
That information like
Nobody was telling the game back then.
No,
sirree.
No.
There was no mechanic saying, hey, if you getting this clicking noise right here, it's a starter. All you got to do is go. Oh no!
You gonna cut that?
They were saying, "Give me the check."
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with it, but I ain't about to sit here.
Not about to tell you how to fix it at all. But nowadays, people are making more money teaching people how to fix.
That's it.
I'm kind of like, I have an older model car. My work truck is a 2011 Chevy Equinox, so. I'm not taking that to the shop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm going to YouTube with everything that happens to it. When anything goes wrong, I go to YouTube. There's a guy on there who's saying, let me guess, you need to change your brakes. How did you know? And I'll sit there and I'll watch him for 10, 15 minutes. I go outside. My wife said, babe, don't do it. You're going to mess up the truck. 10, 15 minutes, he come out there. Let's go. You ready to ride?
It's fixed.
I done changed everything on this. I done totally almost rebuilt my engine from YouTube.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's too much information out
It's
here in
way
the
too
world
much, man.
to be suffering on any level.
That's my point right there. That's what I say. That gotta be put on a t-shirt, because there's so much information at your fingertips. But at the same time, you gotta know how to siphon out what's gonna really help you and what's gonna really slow you down.
What's a hindrance? Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
So
yep.
you got to be able, because it's so much information, and you could get what I call analysis of paralysis, where you don't got so much information, you don't do nothing.
You just overwhelmed.
You just stuck.
You
just stuck, like,
yeah.
man,
That's like the guys you see in the hood. They know everything, but they ain't doing nothing.
They ain't doing a thing.
Yeah.
He said do this, or he said do it this way, and
like, what he
now
doing?
you stuck.
Yep.
And the thing that helped me the most was stick to one thing, master it. And once you master that thing, then you can move on to something else. Once you get that floating and that's rolling and moving, now you can pivot over here and do something else.
Facts.
Right, or add something to that.
So find your niche.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one thing we always talk about. Me, I'm hard-headed. I'm coming, the 2025, I'm making a promise here on film. I'm gonna listen to Bigg Vic myself. You know what I'm saying? He been telling me things to do, and I've been trying to finesse it my own way. Hitting my head up against the wall, making some successes, but making a lot of failures as well. So this year, I'm coming out.
It's not really a failure.
I'm still doing.
Yeah.
I'm still moving forward.
Fell forward.
Yeah. I'm failing forward. Yeah. I'm not going backwards or stopping. Yeah. I'm keeping on.
But if you never fail, you don't learn anything.
Facts.
So everything not gonna always just be exactly like you want it. That's what builds character.
Yeah, boy. That's where I live at. Halal Food Cart. If you're ever in Uptown Charlotte and try on a trade, try the Halal Food Cart. The lamb and rice is to die for.
All right.
They ain't give me no check for that, but
now you got to be like, especially when you putting it out in front of a lot of people, it'd be like, what was that thing he said? And you done sent about 30 people.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
You don't even know it. Yeah, like, hey, man, I need a check, bro.
Yeah, man, cut that check, man.
Let me get something right quick.
Yeah.
But then that's something else too. Like for content creators, that's a great way to get into it.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Talking about other people, what they have going on, and exposing what they have going on.
So and that's why podcasts are so big. The beautiful thing about podcasts right now, and if you haven't peeped it, you should, because if you have a podcast, for example, you have a podcast, you're interviewing people that's giving you the blueprint. In a nutshell.
Yep.
They giving you the blueprint right there, kind of laid out. Sort of kind of laid out. And if you can put those pieces together, you can make some things click. That's what a lot of people done watching my videos.
Yep.
Right? But then people still feel like there's a couple things I still need to know. And that's the information people are willing to pay you for.
That's the mentorship.
Right. That's what people are willing to pay you for.
Be like, come on back here to the private session.
Give away your best information.
Yeah.
That's what I've done.
Yeah.
I've given away a lot of great information that can get you right to where you're trying to be at. And those are my best performing videos on my channel. The ones where I just say,
when you give it
the
up.
ones I say,
Here.
There you go. It's the play.
If you do this, you good.
You good. And those are the ones that
people lock in on.
They go crazy with those. But then because I showed them so much stuff, they're willing to come back and say, you know what, bro, I gotta tap in with you.
I need to sit down some more.
Up. Yeah, I got everything set up, but I want to go ahead and be a part of your program.
One thing I learned about people is, no matter what level they are, they would prefer an actual human that they can trust to walk them through.
That's the key. That's part of the key to wealth.
They're like, man, listen, man, I watched the video, such, but hey, let me ask you this question right here.
Yep. I'm
about to go do such and such and such.
Yep.
Should I do that?
Yep.
And then they want you to be like that, like their parent, almost like their parent.
Correct.
They got it. Your tour guide, like, hey,
Correct.
Don't go over here, don't go over there, don't do this. I
That's
tried that.
Yeah. I've paid for the same thing because I know the power of mentorship. I know the power of not having to keep bumping my head or get my knees scraped up, especially when it comes to this marketing side of things.
Yeah, you can't be afraid.
You know, you got to. If I'm not willing to break 5,000-10,000 for somebody to point me to exactly where I need to go to get this other money, then how could I expect somebody to give that to me?
Yeah, so don't be afraid to invest in knowledge.
You have to.
Yeah, knowledge is the power that we all need. Like, it's crazy. Like Byron Allen said, we're walking by money. We're walking by everything that we need. There's somebody right in your community that wants to help you with what you're doing, but you're not doing it in a way in which is conducive to getting that help.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Some of us I see have arrogance. You know what I mean? I think that's the number one deterrent from winning.
Oh, yeah.
Is having that arrogance that I don't need them. I ain't about to give them no money for that. I'm going to just go. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need to pay for that.
Yeah.
You can do this. Same person still sitting around saying the same thing.
But guess what happens? I learned. That $5,000 that you didn't invest, you wind up investing way more than that.
You end up spending more than that. You better believe
you could have spent 5 to save 20.
You better.
But now you spent 20.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this: you either gonna pay now or you gonna pay later.
I remember
one you want to do?
When we were working in radio, they used to have a little statement on it say, in the end, radio ads don't cost, they pay.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because they like, okay. You don't have to invest in radio. We got millions of people listening.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If you pay this money, eventually it's going to pay you back.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
If I ain't learned nothing else, I learned that paying that money not only put me amongst the people I need to be around, as opposed to the people that wasn't in my circle. I wasn't in those circles. I wasn't rubbing shoulders with millionaires and having those conversations and hearing them saying, "Yo, we just did $100,000 in a day," or "We just did we had $1 million day." Like, I'm like, wait a minute, yo, they making $1 million. They did $1 million in a day,
and you know it's real,
right? So you don't get in them circles by not breaking bread.
Facts.
Or being around them type of people, or even being somebody that has reached a certain level to even know what's going on where money is being generated like that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And they're not going to respect you because you're not willing to invest.
No.
You know what I'm saying? No one's going to respect you if you're just kicking back saying, well, whatever I can get for free, I'm going to take that.
Well, that mentality will keep your behind broke. I call it stinking thinking.
You develop the focus to get your way out at an early age based on your circumstances. So from that, I would say, use what you got. The major keys would be use what you got to get where you're trying to go.
For sure.
Invest in yourself.
Absolutely. Number one.
Make sure you do the due diligence.
Yep.
And be on time with your pivots.
Yep.
You can't hold on to something. Like sometimes we create something and we think it's beautiful. We think if we can get the people to see it, we can make the money. But sometimes that's not what's going to make you the money. You have to be able to have the foresight to say, okay, I got to pivot to something else. Let that go and move to the other thing and see where that's going to take you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You got to know when. You got to know when. You know what I'm saying? That for me, the audience made it a clear cut freaking.
Facts.
Like if it wasn't the light didn't shine no brighter in that direction, I just wanted to be stubborn and stick to what I was passionate about.
Facts.
So I had to come up out of that mindset.
Facts, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And when I did that, the views told me the truth.
We feel you now.
I went from 2,000 to 3,000 to 30,000, 40,000. I'm like, wait a minute. That's an indicator. On a short
video.
That's an indicator.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a minute. They like this.
It's value.
They want to see more. Yeah, they want to see more of this. And all I did was grab all my camera gear because I already had the media company popping. So I just took what I already had.
Use what you got.
Yeah, I already took what I already had and added and put that over here in this mix.
Facts.
And shoot, I went crazy with it. I'm like, let me get the drone.
Yeah.
Y'all want to see a movie? Let me put this together.
Let me put it together.
Yeah, let me put this together. Because what I noticed was nobody was going to be able to do it like how I knew I could do it.
Facts.
So I came into it with that mindset. Even when I started doing the beat making tutorials, I was in that little studio in Florence.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I'm gonna make I'm gonna have the most reasoned beat making videos on YouTube.
Facts.
No, they not gonna have no
when
choice.
When they think reason, they gonna think of
me.
Yep.
And sure enough, my aunt was in a studio buying my nephew not a studio, but guitar center buying my nephew some equipment, and dude was like, yo, what is this guy on YouTube by the name of Bigg Vic? I was like, wait a minute, Bigg Vic? There's only one Bigg Vic I know. He got a beard. That's my nephew.
Yeah.
She called me up. Hey, I'm here at Guitar Center getting a little market some stuff, and this guy said he watches all your videos on YouTube. You famous up here. She put me on the phone. Dude was ecstatic. He was like, well, I can't believe I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but even that locked me in. Just seeing that, but even knowing that makes you not want to leave that thing, right? Because like, damn, what they gonna think if I switch it up?
Yeah, just drop
you know
that.
What I'm saying? If I don't do these no more, like they probably ain't gonna watch the content. But lo and behold, I had to think like, for most people, this is gonna be easy if they're in a position already.
If they could do it, yeah.
Right. They can see. Most people can see themselves doing that. I can get a truck. I don't need a commercial driver's license, and I can make some money once I get the truck, bro. We black folk, it don't take. You only
2 + 2 = 4.
You should. That's all I got to do.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I'm ready.
So that mentality right there was the reason why most people started tapping into the videos. And then they was looking at how I was putting that stuff together too.
Yeah. I gotta give you kudos to that.
To make me stand out from what everybody else was doing. Most people are not willing to
put in that production work.
They're not
just sitting in front of the screen talking.
They're not gonna do that. So that's what made me separate myself from everybody else that started, doing these videos.
That's another major key.
And not only that, but the people that had the money to pay me to put their products in front of my audience. They also seen it.
Yeah.
They seen the quality. They seen the engagement.
Facts.
We want him.
We can put our brand. We can align our brand with this. Yeah.
So when they see stuff like that, it becomes easier for you as the creative putting everything together, because it's like, yo, he already got our audience.
Facts.
Let's pay him.
Let's just pay him. That's less work. Yeah.
Right. If he mentions our stuff, they're more than likely going to buy it. They're going to sign up. And guess what they do? They come back to me every single time. Hey, we ready for another?
So while you were doing that, have you ever worked with affiliate marketing?
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, all of that is a part of my, I got sponsorships. I got affiliate links. Like my entire pie consists of me running my trucks. Okay. Affiliate, different links that I drop here and there, the Amazons and the products, different companies that also that pay me up front.
Facts.
Plus back end.
Facts.
Right. So I've had with one of my partners, they created a program because of all the business I sent to them. They didn't have a program. So they was like, okay, we're going to put this program together. We're going to pay you a percentage of everything that comes through. And I got almost 300 trucks right now that
can go through
kick kicks back to me every month.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. So like I said earlier, you found a way to make money in every corner of the club.
Every absolutely. The same concept I've been able to apply to my business, how my business model is set up right now. So it made it to where okay, I can really start removing myself from the truck myself, driving, which I've done because I hired drivers now, and now they're, going to be running the routes and things like that, while I focus more on the business,
Facts.
on the business and expanding and growing that.
A scale up.
Yeah, while I put the scale up situation together, but this year's it's just going to be even more incredible because I found a way to disrupt the trucking industry, and we're about to, we're about to launch that thing. That's about to be great. Yeah.
Execute, yeah.
It's sort of like how Uber did the taxi industry.
Oh, okay.
Because I watch a lot of documentaries, a lot of business documentaries on the ones that blew up and how they blew up.
How they did it. Yeah.
They all came in and disrupted an industry that was already rocking, already spitting out money. How could we disrupt this? Like, what's missing in this business model that people are struggling? Like, where's the struggles at in this business model?
Well, how can we help somebody in this business model and say, yo, rock with us?
Like, so I know most people, they depend on the load boards for their loads when they get started.
Yeah.
They don't go direct to shipper, right? So they go and purchase the load board, get that subscription plan, and they start booking their freight.
Yeah.
Doing it that way.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, why are we going through the middleman, the broker? Let's go direct to the shipper.
Yeah.
And get our and just.
I saw that video.
Get the whole $5.
I saw that video. That's the one I say let's eat on.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. First the whole. Let's stop getting $2 when we could get the whole $5.
Get the whole $5.
Right.
Yeah.
And deal direct with the shipper. And see, most people are not willing to put that work in to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where the $1 million idea came
to. Yeah.
And what's so crazy was I do the SEO stuff, right?
Okay.
So most of
for those who don't know, what's SEO?
Search engine optimization.
Okay.
That's where you type in photography, Charlotte, North Carolina, and your company pops up on the
top.
first page of Google.
Yeah.
That's SEO, search engine optimization, when people searching for you or searching for a service.
Yeah.
And your company pops up.
Your company pops up.
Right. So, what happens is, we booked a load from the load board, and a broker posted it. He posted the load on the load board, but he was a broker that we couldn't factor the load with. And so I told my guy who was out in Washington State, I was like, yo, when you get to that customer, ask her where she posted this at, because she posted that she needed her furniture moved, and was selling it to another customer that was buying it from her.
Okay.
And she needed it delivered
from one place to the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, where did she ask her where she posted that at? Because I was trying to see how the broker got his hands on it.
Yeah.
He went on Shipley. He saw that she needed a job. She had a job posted that she needed that furniture moved. And he took it from off of there, put it on DAT load board, and found a driver, a carrier to move.
Yeah.
So I said, wait a minute. She went on Ship.
So he didn't have a truck or
none of that. So she went on Shipley. She did a Google search. Moving furniture. Need a truck to move furniture. Whatever you type in.
Facts.
Shipley pops up. You only gonna go to those first companies that you
the
find.
first ones.
First ones on Google. So that's what she did. The broker was on Shipley. He took it, posted it. He made $150 out of it, maybe $200. My driver, we got like $300. Broker got $150, and then the customer tipped him another $100 when he helped get the furniture off the truck.
That's crazy.
So I was like, wait a minute. That's when it hit me. It was like one of the wee hours in the morning. And when I was driving, I was like, yo, if I do the SEO for my network, I bring put all the carriers in my network where they pay me a subscription. But instead of them paying me to just find them loads, or brokers posting their loads in my network, I'm soliciting to all the shippers and say, hey, I got 300-400 carriers right here. We want to do direct business. Are you trying to get robbed by the broker?
Yeah.
Are you trying to? No.
That's the problem. That's the problem you solving.
So are we.
Yeah.
We try to get ripped off by the broker too. So let me bring you directly to carriers versus the broker going out finding carriers and doing all this, keeping half of the money, doing all this weird stuff. So I was like,
so like you said, you fixed their problem.
That's got to solve a problem.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest problems in the trucking industry. Direct freight. Carriers that don't know how to go about getting direct shipper freight.
And the brokers is
Or they don't want to do it. Or the brokers is killing them. The brokers is killing the game.
It's like you said, he don't have a truck or
none of that.
loan.
No insurance. You're not paying no $2,000 a month for insurance.
He's basically the middleman.
He's the middleman. He's the middleman. That's how they make their money.
Yeah,
they like, yo, I'm tired of these brokers. I'm tired of dealing with brokers. And then what's so crazy is when you go out and get your authority, you got a brand new authority. What happens is the brokers are like, you need 6 months. Oh, you can't move none of our freight until you get it.
So they doing the stipulation. Yeah.
Right. So the more new carriers come in, the more they start raising the bar for you to be able to move freight.
Yeah.
That they get from carriers.
But how was that helping them though? It seemed like that would hinder them because now they trapped
They're
into.
dealing with so many carriers.
They trying to limit it.
They got so many carriers that they already have relationships with. It's just like me and you. If me and you been rocking for so long, and you got a whole bunch of people coming up to you like, "Yo, Malik, man, I'm trying to do so and so." Like, nah,
I'm already
all right,
good.
my man. They already moved freight for me.
Rocking.
We good right now. How old is your authority? Yeah, you're gonna need at least another 6 months. So they just like kind of
push them off.
Brushing you off.
Because they hoping like you enterprise enough to go find something else.
Correct. Right.
Yeah,
so, and what happens is, a lot of times you're not even able to factor a lot of these loads. You're not even able to factor the loads because the big brokers you're able to factor your load with, but the newer brokers you gotta wait a week.
You gotta wait some time.
Sometimes 21 days before you get paid after you done ran this load, which is it's still crazy to me.
So is that like their version of a week in the hole?
Not necessarily. They're just a new broker, and so they typically pay you through ACH payment. And so they're waiting for
they're waiting somebody to cut
they're
them
waiting
a
to
check.
get paid. Right. They're waiting to get paid.
They're like, we ain't paying you until we get paid.
That's where the factoring company comes in at. So the factoring company says, hey, we'll buy your invoices. We'll give you your money within 24 to 48 hours. So I don't deal with nothing but factorable brokers.
Okay.
When it's, when I was dealing with brokers like
Well,
that.
it's a good thing when you can scale up, man.
Yeah.
That means you've been doing what you're supposed to do. It's time.
Yeah.
But man, I ain't gonna lie. I thought we was gonna talk for about 30, 40 minutes, man.
This what happens.
We've been dropping them keys.
It just goes.
All types of jewels all over the place, man.
It just goes.
I just wanna thank you for allowing me to sit in, and get a master class.
Oh, for sure.
Right in the car, man, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Bigg Vic TV. Also Carolina Raw TV, man. It's our first collab of many. We're going to be doing a lot of work this year, man.
Absolutely.
Be on the lookout for all the merch we about to drop.
Yes, sir.
It's time to eat, and
Yes,
like
sir.
my brother say, let's go, let's get it, let's eat. Salute.
Deuces.